3. Good morning. Welcome to MetaFest 2, day 10. Whew, day 10. This morning we're going to kickstart with Katalyst Earth. Do you prefer Katalyst.earth or just Katalyst?
Yeah, we've been going by Katalyst.earth actually.
Okay, so we're going to start with Katalyst.earth here with Mitch. And we have a great day ahead of us with a bunch of more refi projects. It's sort of regen day 2. We have some refi NFT projects and other projects that are utilizing NFTs, but also doing a lot more. So it's going to be a pretty exciting day. And we have a great lineup back to back all the way through the end of the night. Well, night or day, depending on where you are. Unfortunately, you are in the middle of your night here in Homage.
Yeah, 12:30 a.m. here over in East Coast Australia.
Well, welcome. So without further ado, why don't we just jump right into it? So we have Mitch here with Katalyst Earth, and he's going to give a nice presentation.
Yeah, thanks, Tommy. And thanks for having us here. I think the way you guys are bringing all these different refi projects together alongside everything else that MetaFest is bringing together is just great. And one of the big things that we've been seeking is to be able to reach out more through the meta communities, Web3 communities, through DeFi, to see how can really apply what's been learned in those spaces, the last number of years, and apply them to this area of regeneration and how we can try and solve climate. So using this technology to actually make real world impacts is what we're all about, and what most refi projects are all about as well. At Katalyst.earth, what we're really trying to do is create these new incentive mechanisms where people who are, particularly those Web3 natives that are interested in crypto and in tokenomics, etc., can be incentivized to actually help us scale climate solutions. And what we mean by that is, when you speak to an environmentalist today, someone who's really passionate about climate, you'll hear a lot of stats, a lot of things that they want to talk about, but what they're really trying to get across is the urgency of this problem. And blockchain technology, this term refi, is really all about how we can help solve those solutions as quickly as possible. So at Katalyst.earth, we're an early stage startup, and we've developed an NFT project. And I think what we saw is similar to what a lot of other people saw, is this great community out there of people really passionate about this area of refi, this intersection of crypto and climate. But there wasn't the ability to really showcase that in a digital age. So where I'm based here, I see a lot of guys walking around in these Sea Shepherd shirts, the shirts that for the environmental organization Sea Shepherd, and they're trying to tell something. That's a brand really today. It's got a big purpose, big ambitions behind it, and a lot of people really identify with what they're doing. And they're out there ramming whaling boats, etc. And they've created this amazing community behind it. How do we do that for refi? For this area where it's a very digital community, and we're using this digital technology to try and solve a real world problem. So you need this communication signal, and that's what we've been trying to create here at Katalyst.earth. So what we've done so far is we've run a few pilot projects. We've actually got an NFT collection where those NFTs go to help fund regenerative projects. And for us, that's tree planting today. So every NFT goes towards planting trees. But we've also embedded, we've worked very closely with a number of partners like KlimaDAO, Toucan, etc., to actually help take more carbon off the market. So we've been working with Klima. We've got staked Klima alongside these NFTs that we embed with them. We want our community to have a role in what's being created there already. And we're also using Toucan's NCT, so it's a nature carbon ton, that that these NFTs go towards help purchasing. So that's 50% of the funding that we generate goes towards these environmental projects. And then we take 10% for grants, etc., and 40% goes to help fund our operations. And this is the bigger picture, which we can talk about after I talk about the NFT project. But this bigger picture is really all what I was talking about scaling climate solutions. And the reason that we need to do that is we need to find a mechanism outside of today's economic system that helps us turn from an extractive system to a regenerative one. So these NFTs are just the start of a long journey for us, and they're a way for us to build a community around this purpose. You can scan the QR code that we've got here. That'll take you into our social media to sign up to the whitelist. We're minting 1st of September. And we're really looking forward to getting more people involved in refi. And we want to make it really accessible to everyone. What's really important to be able to scale something here is that we can make it really accessible to anyone. So we're creating this Katalyst collective from all these individuals that we're trying to bring in across all different walks of life. And this is this climate obsessed community that we're trying to build. I've talked about the scaling a little bit, but it's really a financial mechanism that we can help to drive more investment into environmental projects. So these are the projects that actually help to remove carbon, help to increase biodiversity. And so when we think about removing carbon today, a lot of it's about how you use the land, working with farmers to implement regenerative practices. Tree planting is a classic one that a lot of people know about as well. There's also marine blue carbon projects. So that's things like mangrove projects or seaweed projects, kelp, which is another one. But there's also this need to really scale non-environmental solutions as well. So deploying climate tech is something that we're very interested to work alongside as well. And that's something that we'll be working on. My CTO, Alex, Israeli tech background, satellite communications, ERF, etc. He's got a fantastic skill set within that space of how we can actually use technology, embed it within new mechanisms. So a lot of the projects you will see in the space are really trying to build on existing mechanisms. So, for example, a couple of very well-known ones like Klima are using existing methodologies. So these are the actual ways that you go and measure carbon, etc., and implement a project. We think the system is broken, so we're really focused on building new mechanisms, a new environmental market built on blockchain, built for a digital age, where you can use digital MRV, which is measurement, reporting, verification, to actually get more projects off the ground sooner, quicker, cheaper. But what this NFT project also helps us do is create this signaling mechanism, a social signaling mechanism for people, so they can identify others, around the world who share their values, share their purpose, who are really driven to help solve these crises, but are also looking for incentive mechanisms where they can be rewarded for investing in projects. So blockchain technology is really important because today the environmental markets, carbon markets, etc., they're very opaque. It's very difficult to understand pricing. I come from a trading background, so for me, price discovery is really integral, and that doesn't exist today in carbon markets. So that's something that we need to implement going forward as well. So Katalyst.Earth is the beginning of this new carbon environmental markets that we're creating, running pilot projects at the moment. We've actually signed up a number of development partners, the guys that actually go and implement the projects off the ground. And we've got a couple of customers as well that we're piloting with. And basically what we're doing is helping them invest in these projects, which today they can't invest in. The really interesting thing is the lack of finance in the existing carbon markets. A bank will loan money for the land, but they won't actually help finance the project itself. So that's where we can step in, help them raise capital from a number of distributed sources, and implement projects faster and at higher speed than what can be done in the current markets. So I'll just pause there, Tommy, see if you've got any questions.
Yeah. A few questions. Yeah, I have. You mentioned a financial mechanism to drive more investments. So right now you've got these pretty awesome looking cat NFTs. What are the other ways that you're looking to do it?
Yeah. So look, the NFT is a really important part of what we're building, and as much as it is about building a community in this space and helping people identify with others, the technology also helps us show to investors that we can, that we're comfortable with blockchain technology. We can develop these things. What we need to do is use that technology for physical underlying assets. So an NFT will sit above our project, so it sits above our projects, and then we can essentially fractionalize that for ownership. Now, what happens in carbon markets today, like I was just explaining, banks won't finance these projects. So who does? Well, often it's recurring revenue from the project developers, but very often you get these intermediaries, so traders, etc., that will come in and help to pre-finance projects for forward carbon offtake. And they buy those projects, the credits that are going to be delivered from those projects at a very, very steep discount. So we can offer that sort of incentive mechanism for buyers of these projects, where we will invest that money into real world physical projects that will deliver credits. Those credits will sit on a chain that we've developed. And they'll be incentivized and take some of the risk reward with that as well, be incentivized to invest in these projects upfront early, help them bring them to market, where today those developers are lacking financing, and actually be able to take the upside if they were to look to trade out of those credits as well.
And you said you've developed a chain for that. What?
No, sorry, we're built on Polygon.
Okay.
Yeah, but we've essentially developed a token for that chain. So.
Okay. Yeah, we love Polygon. We at Metagame have our balancer pool on Polygon. Some of the other refi projects have been using Polygon because they are low cost, and they've also made a pledge to be carbon negative by the end of this year. Which is pretty awesome. So
that
you
was the driving factor for us, actually, Tommy. Yeah, we'd been speaking to a number of different chains, L2, etc., and we're waiting for the ETH2 essentially. So we'll be waiting for a while, but let's see what happens in August. But Polygon fit the bill for us. Low gas fees for customers, and the fact that it's a very efficient chain, and the fact that they made a pledge to be carbon negative actually this year was what put us across the line.
Also, you said you're working with Toucan, so Toucan's already got the NTTs on Polygon, so that's pretty helpful.
Yeah.
We talked about it a little bit yesterday on the Regen panel, but with Vera's kind of pause of credits on chain, has that changed your course at all? Are you reconsidering Toucan or?
No, look, I mean, for us, this is a very early space. And so there's a number of hurdles that will come up, but actually it reinforces what we see. The existing methodologies. Sorry, Tony.
I was just going to say, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. The existing methodologies, they've been developed over 20 years, and they're very rigorous. They're very thorough. They're gold plated, right? You need large multinational organizations that want to go and offset the residual emissions. This is a good solution for them. But it's very difficult for project developers to do it. You need a massive scale to really make that a workable solution. There's a lot of people doing great work out there, on smaller land plots that can't access those methodologies today. But we need to create incentive mechanisms for them, and that's what we're building. So I think Vera showed its hand it needs to adapt. They need to, and we're not against what they do at all, but we are living in a much more digital age than the innovation just isn't there. And for us to really scale these solutions, we need to look at alternative ways to get good projects to market and create a market for those people. Find buyers for those credits. So if I can give you a little thought here, I might just stop sharing if that's okay. But
Yeah, of course.
the way I really think about it is that you've got these great developers working in almost a charitable fashion. So they're down this like low verification. They take a photo, they stick it on Instagram, like, here's me planting a tree. Thanks for your $5, your $10, whatever you donated last month.
Right.
Up the other side, you've got Vera, Gold Standard, etc. course here that have got very, very rigorous methodologies. But in the middle here, you've got a lot of space where people are doing great things, and often they're doing it out of their own pocket. No one's appointed Vera to do what they do. We need to find something that uses technology to improve MRV and to make us be able to get more of these projects to market faster as well.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how projects like yesterday we had Joe from Orgo, and Trace from CO2 Colt kind of talking about that a little bit, on how to improve the MRV and keep people accountable and make sure that we're not double counting credits and all the what ifs that come with it, right? You mentioned that you created a token. Are you just using the NCT, or did you create an additional token?
Yeah, that's really for our second phase. So that's a work in progress at the moment, which we're piloting. We actually started out thinking, that there's enough tokens out there. We don't want to go and deconsolidate the market. Right. We want to work with existing players. So we are speaking with players that are in that space. We've spoken to Klima, our friends there, C3, etc., to see how we can utilize existing liquidity pools as well. But as we're piloting projects today, we need to create something that's essentially a mechanism to pass value along the chain between the supplier of these projects and the buyer. So yeah, that's what we've done. It's not really public at the moment.
Nice. You might want to check out also carbonblocks.co was on yesterday.
Okay.
They're working on a similar angle right now. Yeah, it just seems like we're all kind of forming this sub ecosystem of refi together right now, right? And figuring out how to do it. We mentioned yesterday because you were also part of the Refi DAO hackathon, that it was a great collaborative experience, right? Like everyone's working together. We're all, like you said, there's an urgency here. So, it's not a competition. It's not like, let's get rich off of saving the world. It's let's save the world a little bit, like,
yeah. And I think we've all got to accept that at the end of the day, a little bit of competition is good, but it is a super collaborative space. And I think that's the difference when you get to something that's for purpose and where people see the bigger goal here as well. And look, there'll be fragmentation and consolidation and whatever. And you've got to pick the people that you can work with and create the most value with as well, and have the biggest impact with. But we're super open to collaborations and to working with people as well.
Wonderful. And you mentioned being able to fund regenerative projects on the ground directly. Do you have a funnel for that? Are you using something like giveth.io, or do you have something else going on there in Australia?
Yeah. Look, in Australia, we've got so you're familiar with the voluntary markets and VCS, etc. Here in Australia, we also have an environmental market that's under the Emissions Reduction Fund. It's part of what they call the Clean Energy Development Mechanism, and those are ACCUs, so Australian Carbon Credit Units. They're only really good for Australia.
Okay.
They help companies actually. There's been quite a good ecosystem built up here, despite not such a supportive government over the last 10 years in terms of getting these projects up and running. but it's a very sophisticated market in terms of carbon markets. And that means that there's a lot of really great project developers in the country here that we can partner with. Now, our ambitions are global, as with any startup business like ours. You've got to think and dream big, but we've got a great base to start from with partners that we're working with here in Australia that have been involved in these markets for a long time.
Yeah, you've got a pretty big plot of land to deal with over there too, so you're doing your part.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, this is really exciting. So your whitelist, you said, is sign up is now, and your mint will be the 1st of September?
Yeah, correct. So the private mint's 1st of September, and then we go out, I think it's 29th of September is going to be the public. So, yeah, we've got a few weeks in there just to create a bit more hype, etc.
Mm-hmm. And what are other ways we can contribute with Katalyst besides just signing up and buying the NFT?
Yeah, look, one of the things that we've really found useful is how we can take these learnings from DeFi, etc., and just create these incentive mechanisms. So we've chatted some really, really awesome people in that space around what we can do with our NFTs and how we can embed more value in them, how we can make them more attractive to buyers, and create something of value. And I think, as much as there's a lot of NFT projects out there that provide very little utility, and some which celebrate the fact that they've got no utility, no roadmap, etc. as well these days, which is brilliant in itself. But what I think you need to do in the current market is really stand out and provide something of value that people can get their heads around. And I really think that ReFi, if we all work together, can be a really leading example, because it's a great, what better way to show real world utility than things that are actually contributing to a better future. So if we need to get this message out throughout the crypto world, which is why it's great that we've got 2 days, I think, you've dedicated to this space, to regen, etc. That's awesome.
Yeah, we have 2 days, but we also have sprinkled throughout the whole 2 weeks. We have almost every day there's something regen, refi, just kind of the way the cookie crumbled. And we're congruent with the Gitcoin refi hackathon happening right now. We've been promoting everyone's Gitcoin grants. If you have a Gitcoin grant up right now, please drop it in the main stage chat. We'll shill it for you. Trace dropped a good cart of refi projects for Gitcoin last night, so it's there in the main stage chat. So if anyone wants to donate on Polygon, one DAI, I think for them, for example, the matching was $50 for $1, so $1 goes a long way right now for everyone. And
yeah, that's awesome. I mean, more, as much as we can do around that, that's the best. So yeah, for us, if if anyone's out there that wants to learn more about us, jump in, get in contact. You can join our Discord, ask any questions, and we'd be happy to answer them as well. So yeah.
Amazing. And you had mentioned also that in October, I believe, you're going to have an IRL event there in Australia. Do you want to mention anything about that?
Yeah, absolutely, Tommy. Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. So we're actually in the process of finalizing the dates. We should have those by the end of the week. But where we're based here in Australia, in a little, it's not really a little town, but a town called Byron Bay, which Tommy, you're familiar with, right?
Mm-hmm.
How are you familiar with it?
Oh, just world hippie travelers,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's that kind of place. So, so yeah, it's been a hotspot hippie destination for years and years, but it's really coming to its own, and we want to make this a hub similar to what we're seeing in other parts of the world, whether it's Lisbon, for example, in Portugal. You hear a lot about there, a lot of guys based in Denver, etc. But there's a real opportunity here. It's got a great mix of people that are very passionate about this space, very knowledgeable, and we want to bring all that knowledge and passion together and create a really awesome event. So part educational, part entertaining, musicians and talks and lunches, and yeah, it'll be a 2-day event. And we're really excited to get a lot of people there. So
awesome, really excited. Well, we'll keep an eye on your Discord, I guess, to find out more information about that, and your Twitter.
Correct. Yeah.
And awesome. Well, Anything else you want to share with us?
No, I've done everything. Look, I mean, I just want to say thanks for having us here. Um,
Yeah. Thank you for being
where
awake so late.
yeah, no worries. We've got really big ambitions in terms of what we want to do. We've got a great team, and this is the first step. And I think this is a great opportunity for people to sort of invest in us and get this project running. We're working hard in the background alongside having this NFT project developed, but really moving on to what we were talking about and piloting these projects so that we can actually start demonstrating to the world that we can create a new way to really value natural capital and incentivize investment in environmental solutions.
It's exciting to see everyone working so hard and for all these projects really sprouting up and hitting the ground running fast. I think it, like you said, the urgency is now. The urgency was a while back, but the urgency is definitely now, right?
Yeah.
All the
Exactly.
projections, 2030, 2050, 20, yeah, well, before it was 2020, right? Now we're in 2022. So
Yeah.
let's step it up a notch, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. And I think just maybe one last thing is like a lot of people are talking about what's happening in crypto and what the prices are doing. What I think is great about refi is everyone's just got their heads down. They're just building, and it's true. And I haven't had that many conversations. I haven't had any conversations with anyone in the space freaking out about what's happening in the markets, right? Everyone just sees the bigger picture, and we'll be here.
That's a really good
In a
point.
few years' time.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Within the refi community, it's like not a whole lot of people are like, "Oh, bear market, bear market." It's just like, no, we got things to do. Keep going, go, go, go.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like my PA account's not looking that healthy right now, but when I think about what we're building, I'm really excited. I think that the technology that's there, it's going to create a lot of opportunities when we come out of this, out the other side of this market.
I agree. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been great hearing about your project. It was really awesome meeting you within the Refi DAO Hackathon. And I know it's really late for you, but we do record all these so you can watch back later and catch everyone that's on after you.
Appreciate it. Yeah, thanks, Tommy. Thanks, thanks to Metafest for having us, and let's keep in touch.
Absolutely.
Brilliant.
See you on Twitter.
Thanks, man. All right. Ciao.
Ciao.